green space, which was 77.35, whereas it should have been 80. Well, we're hoping for a reduction of less than a percentage to 76.87.
Yeah, so it's not,
Rather small.
so you're looking for what, 1%?
Yeah, not
Barely.
maybe about a 0.5%.
0.5%.
Yeah, 0.5%. And I think that is the size of that garage.
Okay, I see in the 0.48% like that, okay.
And then the reason for the height, if you folks have taken a look at the elevation, well, that's just the folly of an architect. So what happens is the existing architecture there that was done in the 60s by the Beardsley firm has some, monoplanes. It was a modern mid-century or whatever modern home at the time. The building had suffered some additions that had taken away from some of that. That still remains one of the dominant features of that home, or certainly as it compares to other homes. So I certainly could put a gable on this building and reduce that height. It's an ask for the town to make this exception, but I do believe that making that building mimic the architecture of the house would be
Make more sense.
really- yeah.
Aesthetically,
and you can see it is a very low pitch. I started out the wall on the low end at 7 feet or less than that.
less than the,
To try to manage that height, but so those are the variances that we're asking.
now, in terms of the project itself, you said, gym, I understand, little off, gym, you're gonna have a little gym facility.
Well,
How's the
Yeah.
use planned out?
so the use is planned out in there. There is one large open space and then there is one enclosed space. And the enclosed space, he wants to set up his office in there. Then they wanted to just have lounge space in there and he wanted to set up gym equipment in there. What we currently have in there, back to the plumbing, because it is detached from the house, is that we do have a 3/4 bath in there and we do have a coffee bar area in there. So
That's current and it's working.
no, it's not.
No, it's not.
There's no
Not at
plumbing.
all.
There's no plumbing.
Oh, there's no plumbing in there. Right?
No,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and it's not heated or any, the space is not conditioned or anything like that. So we're taking over some of that storage area of the garage to make the entry, make the stairs up and to be able to deal with the utility. But we are proposing to put a bathroom up in that space. I suppose the danger here, right, is when you look at that plan, indeed, could it be rented out or something like
that's,
that?
and that's exactly where I was
Yeah.
going on it.
No, I understand that. I mean, obviously, that's against the zoning regulations. You have a mechanism for that makes that legal activity.
Yeah,
You have a
I can tell
constable
you,
that enforces it, but
yeah, I can tell you that if you were to get my vote for the variance, I would very clearly put a conditional
Contentious.
that they not use it for sleeping quarters or rental, or this variance isn't going to be a variance.
yeah, and we're very, very agreeable to that. I no longer have a reason to entertain the seat. So, but I mean, certainly I can't, know that what people are gonna do. I can tell you that the will of these people are to use it that way. But we all know that what we're dealing with here is a property, not a person.
Exactly. The next owner says, well,
Yeah.
What's the necessity of the plumbing?
Pardon me?
What is the necessity of the plumbing?
Well, I think using the bathroom.
It's detached, right?
Oh, yeah, it is detached. It's not horribly far from the house, but on a day like last Monday, it seemed like forever. It's probably 40 feet or so, several steps and down a sidewalk to the building. And of course, the bathroom would be on the same floor as.
well,
the
let
office
me
is.
ask you this,
Yeah.
is there a planned shower unit?
There is, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would be the purpose of that?
Well, I think
if it
that,
had not been living space.
right, I think it was because of the gym, but understanding that after talking to Pat, understanding that could be a
It-
concern of the board.
it-
I raised that I already have prefaced that, I already had prepped my clients that may be not a piece that we can expect to get.
Yeah, I mean, without the shower facility, then the board is reasonably assured that the next owner couldn't rent it out.
Well, I don't want to meet the tenant anyway, but, yeah, so I mean, I think their idea was to make it so that they could have that off of the gym and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but certainly using the gym and needing to go to the house to take the shower is not the inconvenience of working in the office.
And not
needing
going to the bathroom.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Exactly, no, I'm just wondering if there's a compromise to be had so that everybody's interests are met. And that's frankly, from my standpoint, the variance is relatively minimal. It doesn't change anything as far as I can see in terms of the character of the neighborhood. Matter of fact, your adjoining property just changed hands, as you're probably well
I
aware.
did not know.
Well, not exactly. It's Camp
Oh,
Columbus.
that is adjoining.
Yeah, that has
Oh,
recently changed hands. I don't know what the plans are for that, because I've been approached a number of times about commercial type activities, and I keep trying to dissuade the idea that we don't have a commercial zone,
Right.
but neither here nor there. So being mindful of that. No, the issue is we've had people who have the garages, and matter of fact, I don't want to say a local attorney had an issue where above the garage, the game room and other facilities went, and that became a very difficult situation.
yeah, well, and again, I can understand I would understand the board's position on that, just because it's,
Because it makes it living space,
well, and.
because you gotta.
Well, and what we don't know is we don't know in 12 years who owns this, what
Yeah.
knowledge they.
Well, exactly, but it makes it living space, having the shower unit, and you say snack bar, which tells me basically kitchenette. All of a sudden, we've got every component of a viable living space. Okay, if we remove one of those, I mean, right, to make it a viable living space, you need kitchen facilities, toilet and showering facilities. If we eliminate shower, but leave the bathroom, understanding that he didn't want to go, you're working in your office and you got to go, you don't want to puff outside next door.
Well, if you give me a
That's what
choice
you gotta
between
have.
the shower and the coffee, I'm gonna take the coffee.
Well, I'm gonna be against the entire.
Plug in any
Oh,
electrical outlet.
Probably.
I didn't hear that.
Well,
What is
yeah.
that?
Jerry, go ahead.
Coffee bar is a whole different thing than having a coffee pot.
Well, yeah.
Plug
Yeah.
in an electrical outlet.
Yeah, does coffee bar include cabinet, tray, sink,
Yeah,
and
what is that?
all that? I mean, that's basically, we've made living space. And that's my problem.
It looks like an apartment to me.
Yeah, that's,
Well,
Plain and simple.
yeah, I mean, it's pushing the envelope. That's the problem. You know what? I generally speak, I don't have much of an issue with just that.
And even though we have a constable, quasi constable, we don't go check on people's plea. We're not knocking on doors. We're not.
No, but I would assume that you have the zoning regulations in place to thwart problems that develop from this, right?
Yeah, we don't let them have plumbing in their garage.
No, that's not your concern. Your concern is that.
We don't want renters
Right.
where they're not supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because why?
Well, you're not
Because
supposed to have
why?
two separate facilities, two separate homes on a single lot. And if we got a detached building with living space, we got.
No, I understand what
we
it is.
created-
I mean, I get it. I just mean the town has decided that is not an appropriate use for the land, and I'm just asking for what reason. I'm not challenging you change the law. I'm just trying to understand. Like you say that the constable doesn't go searching for these things. We'll deal with this a lot in Skinny Atlas,
Well,
particularly with the.
Because
particularly-
there's residential areas.
Right.
And
Okay.
people, and the lakefront people, in terms of quiet enjoyment, they spend a lot of money and time to be there. And the issue becomes, they become year-round residents, and next thing you know, their neighbor, to make a few extra bucks, starts running to X, Y, and Z. They rent a single little unit with a bed in there.
Right.
And next thing you know, what's going on is 15 people show up,
Yeah.
and having
That doesn't get, that isn't something that's hard to discover, to understand, and to enforce. So denying people the development of these spaces because they could be a
Understood.
den of,
Yeah.
understood, but what we're doing is we're making living space where we otherwise didn't have
No,
a detached.
your zoning doesn't prohibit habitable space. Your zoning prohibits us having two families are renting that space. Your zoning doesn't prohibit.
That's actually what I
that.
wondered, if, did
Yeah.
anybody pull that zoning verbiage up? So I really wondered.
Yeah, I heard it was
Yeah, and I-
clarification on the living.
Prohibit plumbing in a.
No, we don't.
accessory
Yeah.
structure.
No, that-
And then
understood.
once you have sleeping areas and you have cooking
It,
facilities.
it comes down to the definition of habitable space.
Right.
And I
I
think
think
there is a
you-
definition in the code. I don't have my booklet here
I'm
on
looking at it
habitable
now.
space
To be a second dwelling, you can't have two dwelling units.
on a unit.
One lot,
Yeah,
but you're in the right direction with the shower, David, but also if you could say no cooking facilities. Then you'd have a little bit more assurance, and I mean, somebody could have.
well,
wet bar and a
cooking,
microwave oven or something.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect to see a stove and a
Full-size refrigerator.
yeah, because then we've basically allowed habitable space.
Right, right. And I'm comfortable with those conditions. I'm just suggesting that for me to, if this was a wood shop and I had a toilet out there,
Yeah,
I mean.
Yeah,
again,
Yeah,
understood.
most offices have toilet facilities.
yes,
Really,
yeah,
so it should
yeah.
be
Well,
fine.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
not
right.
quibble about the
No,
toilet
I
facilities.
understand
Yeah.
that.
Most offices don't have showers.
No.
Right, yeah, and that's fine. I, like I said, they, I'm pretty comfortable with how they had proposed to me they wanted to use it. I had told them that adding a shower here is gonna be a flag tripper for sure.
You're giving them good advice.
Yeah, well, I mean, this isn't any different than a lot of the lake communities and what the zoning is asking for those, and particularly because it's one thing to rent it to someone who's gonna live there year round or 6 months or something like that, still not acceptable, but the short-term rental thing has become a monster.
Huge
A
issue.
monster, yeah. And we are a family of 12 that we travel together and do a lot of those short-term rentals, and I wouldn't want to live next to them. Fortunately, they're usually in beaches where everyone is,
Sure,
but I get it,
sure.
I get it.
Mind you, I have one of those properties on Rockefeller Road that is rented out by the week.
Yeah.
And I have come down to my house to find tents pitched in my yard, which is, so many cars there that I cannot park in my own driveway. Okay,
Yeah.
and those are the type of issues that are happening on the lake
Yeah.
with the rentals. And so how we try to nip it is when somebody has we don't have a short-term rental law yet, though that's in the works.
Yeah.
When additional development takes place, especially in a separate freestanding building, accessory structure, we make sure it's not actually rentable, livable space, so we avoid the
Yeah, so
the problem.
I understand that and certainly would hope to work with the board to make them comfortable that this doesn't have all the qualities or all the features that would make it a subsistent living quarters.
Yeah,
I would very much like to have a bathroom in the office if I could. And again,
that to me, that I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but from Kathy's comment, I take it you're the same way. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
David?
go ahead, Jerry.
You also have to consider population density in the watershed.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, as far as allowing other.
allowing,
renters,
right, yeah,
And then and we're all quite aware of the pressure that's on.
a lot.
Yeah,
At least the sewer's there now.
yeah, yes, this is on a. sewer
Because
property.
when they were septic, what would happen is they rented one and 50 people show up and it just
Overwhelmed,
overburdened
yeah.
the intended use of that septic system and guess where it go?
At police resistance.
Yeah, and it's just, and the neighbors just love those algae blooms.
Or to think that their drinking water is being threatened.
Of that too. Anybody else have any questions or concerns? I mean,
I just have have we have we permitted many of these before? I don't recall.
yeah, we had
Handful.
we had one on Water's Edge, if you remember.
With plumbing and an accessory structure. we've done that
Yes,
before.
we've done that.
Okay, I just.
Yeah, Water's Edge is the one that comes to mind.
Okay.
Well,
That was pretty recent.
it was,
pretty recent.
yeah, not that, well, it's gonna be pretty recent, but not that,
Yeah.
6-7 years ago,
Oh,
something like that.
Yeah, but it could have been, could have been 8 or 9. I don't know.
I mean,
I just don't remember a ton of these.
no,
I
well,
can't remember one.
No, and.
you don't remember, well, I mentioned
I
one
might have
name.
been absent that day.
Yeah,
San
just don't
Giacona's
remember.
issue. That was the issue with the shower.
same
I
idea.
mean, how I think we resolved that is we allowed the bathroom facility, but not the
Separate,
showering
yeah.
facility. Because it started really looking like a second residence.
Yeah,
And that's worked. We haven't.
And that's how, I mean, that's how we've addressed it in the past. I don't have any dog in this hunt, and I'm,
it just makes sense.
okay with
It
what the
makes more
board's
sense.
thinking.
Oh, it makes sense, but it definitely opens the door to,
It does.
snap your fingers and throw up a shower.
I
pretty
was
easily.
thinking that as well.
And I mean, the kitchen facility is right on the flip side of the wall right there, so it makes it pretty easy to throw a kitchen all.
Oh, the balance of it, yeah, I think that being said.
I mean, when I looked at the picture, it looks like an apartment.
Yeah.
I thought it was an apartment. You'd
Yeah,
say office, you make it bedroom, you'd say
Mhm.
gym, and you write living room, you
Yeah.
got it, you have living.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I could not disagree with you.
I was
And,
thinking.
and,
so.
And I was.
How big is the principal structure?
That I don't know, I'm just gonna guess.
Do you know how many
Bedrooms
bathrooms
are
are
there?
in the
I don't,
principal structure?
I don't, I did a little work on it, but I
Do
just,
you know if there's a bathroom on the first floor of the principal structure?
I would believe so, because there are bedrooms in the first floor.
Thank you.
Well, anybody else have any questions, thoughts, or concerns? Chair?
Well, I have concerns.
Well, voice them, because I want to hear everybody's thoughts.
A bathroom is understandable. Everything else they're asking for, or they presented. It's really, they're saying, I'm not going to rent it, but let me tell you, it's being set up, as far as I'm concerned, to be changed over.
Pretty easy to do.
I mean, putting everything in there, it's just a matter of putting a bed in.
Don't like this side.
Yeah, well, I think that, once again, the trying to police what people do without the benefit of a building permit, as far as going in there and adding a shower or adding a
Right.
full-size kitchen, is something
Yeah.
very hard for us to do here.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So if you want to base whether something was stored or not on the fact that somebody could do illegal activity, well, I'm afraid that opportunity presents itself with
Just about
absolutely every
anything.
application.
I don't disagree with that. Some are just easier than others.
Yeah, oh, indeed, and again, if there's something I can't tell you what people do.
No, understood.
Or what another owner might do, but if there's something I can do with this proposal or application, like getting rid of the shower. for example,
Well,
if it-
I can tell you, I could be supportive of this having a bathroom even a little coffee bar, as long as we're not talking like a full kitchen
Top or
stove
anything,
and
yeah.
stove type, situation. A simple bathroom,
Bathroom, coffee pot, bar.
yeah,
microwaves.
yeah. To me, I can live with that. The other, I think we're making habitable space. And once we include the shower and basically the kitchenette in a way. Does that kitchenette show? I don't remember.
Yeah, it just shows, it's just the hand sink, they rinse out a coffee pot.
Well,
coffee filter.
you need a sink for the bathroom, right? You need hand washing.
Well, that is in the bathroom.
Yeah, there's
That's
in
the
in
bathroom, too.
How many square feet is this?
It is 22 by about yeah, 22 by about 24.
Who's doing that math?
I've had that.
So is there a variance
Eliminate
involved
that.
for the square footage?
Of the building.
Need a.
Oh, you mean for the accessory space or something? or-
Yeah, in 150-22 in the code, it says the home occupation shall be, oops. The floor area devoted to a home occupation shall not be more than 25% of the ground floor area of the principal residential structure or 500 square feet, whichever is left. So there's
Okay.
that,
And that was for a home occupation?
correct.
Yeah, well, but we
I
got
don't
other,
believe it's a home occupation.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, I
either.
think that's the, yeah.
Which many people have.
Home offices, yeah. Well, also,
That's
you,
the
you
same
got,
thing?
you got the.
It was a dentist or a lawyer or.
Yeah,
All people there.
There's a list in the,
Oh, okay, that's different.
Yeah.
We don't, yeah, and we are not entertaining.
it's not a home occupation.
Clients.
yeah, and also some of the space is dedicated to other things, recreational type. Use, I mean, we have no code provision as far as I know that you can limit, in an accessory structure, a recreational space above a garage or no, there's nothing in there that I'm aware of anyways.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I apologize. for going. What I'd also suggest for the board, if it, because clearly if I just say I'm striking the bathroom or the shower, but and again, people can change things, but if I move the toilet down the far end, then move the hand sink and then move the door into the toilet room like this, I can either leave
Yeah, that's much more livable.
But it makes it far more difficult, particularly with the toilet flange here. I mean, you can put a shower anywhere, but it makes it
just
far
add
more
on.
Difficult to reconvert
Right,
the
just to-
space.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's make it difficult.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, no, I listen, I don't want to rewrite their drawings. I
No,
mean,
I don't want to put the board in a compromised position.
Yeah, so, any more discussion? Let me ask you this. I mean, is the homeowner amenable to elimination of the shower and moving some of the fixtures? So then we don't have to come back to another meeting?
Let's assume that that's the case. Is it fair for us to assume the case? I mean, in other words, if they say no, then I'd have to amend any movement that you made. but
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, okay, well, no, that's what I guess I'm getting at, because if we make a motion to approve and
Contingent.
and make a contingent upon the homeowners agreeing to eliminate the shower facilities and reconfiguring the bathroom in such a way that it will
On
not
Jim's
lend
drawing.
itself to
Habitable space in
adding the
future.
shower in there to make
Yeah.
it habitable space.
For future use, but in future. or
Yeah,
not.
in the future, then I think we're probably pretty good shape.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Any other thoughts? I mean, we may have a no, we may, I don't know. I don't see how everybody
I I
votes.
think it's fair the way where he's got it right now. I think it's fair for the homeowner. We got.
We've
We're
covered
just making it-
ourselves and we've given them what they
Yeah,
need.
yeah, that's right.
Primarily, almost everything, and
Compromise.
it compromises everything, but it avoids the pickle of the rest of the community when they say, why'd you let these nice folks, the Foxes build habitable space above their garage, and the 20 other people who get wind of it are gonna be doing the same thing, which will happen,
Oh, sure.
guaranteed.
I know how precedence works.
But like you said, we have allowed it before, so we. you know, can't-
Just not without the
Yes.
full bathroom facility.
Right,
Mhm.
so.
So let me ask you this, we have a motion?
Yeah, do we wanna add anything about storing along the outside of it, like the new?
Every time we give a
Yeah.
variance on the garage, we always do it, but I guess we're gonna have to, is the compromise, Sean, on that, like. It's gotta be conditional upon planning board approval as well, because they're doing site plan review, okay? Conditional on the homeowners agreeing to eliminate the shower and reconfiguring the bathroom in such a way to avoid addition of a shower to make it more like habitable space.
All right.
And I think at least you'd have my vote on that. And I don't know how, again, I don't know how everyone else feel. I'm trying to get some consensus. I'm trying to get some consensus here.
Something outside of the building.
We're gonna.
Yeah, what happens is every time we've given a variance on a garage,
Right.
when it's closer than permitted to the property line, we always make a conditional that the applicant not store any items behind it
Okay.
or aside it. And the simple reason is what they've been doing is trying to crowd the property line.
Right.
And then they don't put the stuff in the garage, they put it behind the garage, and their neighbors are looking at all the junk.
Right.
And we get more complaints.
And it is always that what seems like useful slot of land.
Yes.
To roll the old grill in. put the
Especially when
ladders
you're
on,
not
I
the one
get-
looking at it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You can't see it from your house, but the neighbor's looking right at it, and they stew every time they look at it, prompting calls to us. So we found a mechanism to deal with it.
Makes sense.
Are there washer and dryer hookups in there?
There are not.
Okay.
Are they gonna have some type of rain retention system?
Gutters, whatever.
On the
It
building
does,
itself?
Because of the additional.
In
Yeah, I
the
don't-
plan, it said we're gonna have gutters.
Okay, let's talk to the builder about that. Then we'll
Well,
have gutters.
Yeah, planning will get you on that anyways, but we usually try to beat them to the punch, so it solves the
It's all
problem.
set, Yeah.
You want
Got
the
a
motion? as
motion?
well? You want the gutters in the motion?
How do you feel?
It's in the plan, it's in my description.
Well, if it's in the.
I read it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I just-
I won't do that then.
Yeah. I
It's
just
not in the
didn't recall
blueprint,
if
but it
it's
was
the
in
blueprint.
In the write-up.
Yeah,
Somewhere?
somewhere. I read it.
All right, I have a motion then. The applicants, David and Mary Ann Fox of 5001 Gleason Drive, Auburn, New York, 13021, tax map 138.03-1-45. Have requested 2 variances in order to add a 3rd car bay to an existing garage, as well as a 2nd story for a home office. The first variance is a 2-foot, 11-inch height variance for an accessory building. It's 20 feet allowed, they're requesting 22 feet 11 inches. And the second is for a decrease in non-conforming green space. It's currently at 77.35%, they're requesting 76.87%, 80% is allowed. I'm making a motion for the following. 2 feet, 11-inch height variance for the accessory building to allow for the 2nd story to be added to the existing garage. And a 3.13% variance in non-conforming green space on the lot to allow for the addition of a 3rd car bay to the existing garage. While this hardship is self-created, the board finds the request to be reasonable, and the extension of the existing garage should not have any negative effect on the neighborhood. It likewise should have no effect on the health, safety, or welfare of the community. This is the minimum variance necessary to achieve the desired purpose of extending the garage with an additional bay and adding a second story to the existing building. This variance will be granted on the conditions that no items stored behind or alongside the garage, that the home office above the garage not be utilized as living or sleeping quarters, nor that the space described as the home office be used for house guests or rental. And also that there will be no shower in the bathroom, and that the plumbing will be arranged in a way so that it's not conducive to a shower being put in.
Were we taking the sink out of the living room and putting it in the bathroom too, or no?
There's already one in the bathroom. There's one in the bathroom. And
I'd rather I'd rather not wash out the coffee filter.
Yeah.
In the bathroom, I mean, would I?
You're fine.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Should we add a kitchenette to that?
Oh,
Oh, that and
No cooking.
no
No.
cooking facility.
yeah, no cooking facilities be installed in the space.
As another condition, no cooking facility be installed in the space.
And this is again, also conditional upon site plan approval by the planning board. Anything else we're missing?
Yeah, when you said that it's reasonable for them to have a second story, just add for a home office. You said
Yeah,
for a home-
for home
Yeah,
office, okay.
before you said that.
Okay.
And also, what was the 3.13? I thought it was supposed to be 0.48%. Or four, yeah.
It was,
got
let's see,
confused there.
80% is the allowed, they wanted 76.87,
We currently have 77.
and they currently have 77. So I just went with the whole difference, 80 to
Oh,
the
the whole difference,
76.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's what-
Yeah,
that-
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that
you're
makes
good, you're
sense,
good.
Yeah.
Pat, one other point of order. Given the fact that the garage is a pre-existing non-conforming in terms of the distance from the property line, do we have to give a variance for the extension?
And that's a good point, because I was gonna bring that up. We have in the past.
We have,
So
and I,
basically, the addition would be 9 feet from the property
Yeah,
line, whereas
we
we
usually
require 10. So if you want to give a south side
A
1
s-
foot,
yeah, I think we should do, it. We'll add the south, and if we
Cover
could,
all of
add
it.
the south side, uh, lot line variance of what, one foot.
Well, I think it's maybe 2.5 or 2 feet, because is it 10 that's required?
Because you are,
It's 10 that's required.
Right.
and you
I
are adding on
probably-
that, right?
And I am 7.49, so I'm looking for 2.51.
Oh,
3 then.
Yeah, two, okay, yeah, okay, so we may, so Lori, when you do that motion, we add that 2.51
Are we saying 3?
feet? Huh? Or we say 3 feet, yeah,
foot.
just to be safe on it, and we don't have to,
South side,
No, I like that, because architects always talk about building lines being the face of the stud, then you add plywood and you add.
Yeah, yeah.
Surveyors and architects, we argue all the time.
yeah, I think 3 would be a better. And I'd like to know that it's actually building, the way it's configured is actually further from the property line than currently configured. So, it's
yeah,
helpful
that's
there.
good. I will second the motion. Sounds good.
Okay. Jim,
Yes,
Gary,
Yes,
Kathy,
Yes,
Sean,
Yeah,
Mike,
Yes,
David,
Yes.
Thank you, board. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for working with us on that.
Oh, I mean, likewise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we try not to be the board from the village to the east.
wait a minute.
Shouldn't say that too loud.
No,
which is one of the reasons I was almost voted no, because my
Yeah.
brother-in-law can't have a bathroom in his garage.
Is he in the village?
Wow.
Yes,
And scan.
Yeah.
The village is crazy place.
Well,
I work
it's all-
in the town, but
it's all, everything's historical and all.
well, and they're anything that, I was moving a mother-in-law into a house in Parkside there. So the downstairs, we had a kitchenette, no cooking appliance. We had a bathroom in her room down there. There is no security between the two spaces. there's no way in or out of that space. I had a battle of my life. I got it, but you know, it was the whole short-term rental apartments.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I'm like this close to saying no on the whole thing, just because once you have the toilet, everything else is just
Yeah.
easy to throw
And
in.
quite frankly, if you had a.
And 4 years down the road,
Yeah.
he might not be with us anymore, and somebody might just, whatever, and it's a rental.
I know, it is very difficult because if you had a shop sink out there, that means you have waste and you have water.
Yeah.
So just that alone would allow someone to do that. But at the same time, it is a hard balancing act because it's pretty hard to deny people things that are not necessarily unreasonable because of what people can or will do. That's.
Yeah.
I don't know,
You know, anticipated future criminal activity is a little, little hard. to-
All I know is it was my place,
Yeah.
it would probably get the shower.
Yeah,
it would get the bathroom.
you know, please let the homeowner know that, I mean, frankly, that compromise was much appreciated because frankly, without it, it wasn't going to pass.
Well, no, your endorsement or your approval rather, is of course very much appreciated. It goes without saying.
I thought this was gonna be easier than it was.
There's certain things you can sit down and talk
Well, it's
about.
just a slippery slope.
Yeah, oh,
It is,
understood.
it is, yeah.
Once you put that in there, it's.
Yeah. I'm glad that the governor in my truck still allows me to get up into the 80s, but yeah, that's.
So
Yeah.
guys, the planning board is the first Wednesday of.
Part of me said, you know what?
Yeah.
If the planning board.
Four PM?
wants to
Yeah.
do it,
They won't
Yeah,
normally
they
send
won't.
out letters.
Well, see, that's the fail safe on this.
That's true.
We gave the
If
variance.
they're gonna have these, see it.
But if they're gonna see it, and if they don't like it, they're gonna say no, and then it's over.
I'm just gonna write.
That's right.
I don't think it's unreasonable. I mean,
It's not, and we've already given it before, so you can't just like.
if you
You
remember,
have to be
Sam,
careful.
Sam,
I
Sam,
think the code should have been changed and said no.
No.
No
Yeah, no, I
bathrooms
like
in
that.
garages,
And like I said,
Yeah.
because once you have that.
our mistake.
Yeah, I know, I
you know
agree.
what, well, we're going through the revision right now, you know,
But it was
okay,
I mean, it would be something for them to look at. It would definitely eliminate.
no, I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'll raise your point.
I think it's a point that needs to be raised.
Pat, I just, first, I want to
Is
officially,
that your wife? the
I-
judge?
Yes,
You
Yeah.
gotta close it.
I
I'll have
want-
to ask her about it. It was a lot of
it was a
fun.
good thing or a bad thing.
No, it was a good thing. I came in here, got the date wrong, came in here and I.
no, that's
And that
funny.
was it. It was just your wife and the clerk. And, yeah, she was great.
Can we add one more thing to the record? And that is that there was no one here to speak for or against this proposal, so we could add that to the minutes of this. And then I want to officially close out the hearing, which I hadn't done, I don't think.
Oh, actually, the draft minutes.
Yeah, minutes.
Yeah, just a housekeeping matter. Everybody have a chance to look at the minutes?
Yeah, I got it.
Any additions, changes, or deletions?
I have a few little tiny typos, and that's it. I was gonna worry. Sound good?
We got a motion to approve?
Yeah.
Kathy and Mike.
I'll second that. Yeah, yeah, yes,
Yes, and yes. Thank you. Thank you, Sean, for that.
Yep.
And seriously, thank you very much. You know, it's nice to see somebody like you know, being reasonable, because we have these death struggles. I mean, you know, we're not giving up an inch, and then we're forced in the position of going, okay, then you're not getting any.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, we want people to use their houses the way we want to use them. We want